Hi everyone, it's John here, and welcome to this week's edition of Friday Freebies. Hope you're all well. This week we're going to take a look at how to clean up your database in XPOS. So this week's topic is going to cover a look at gift vouchers. So we're going to look at how to manage, say, possibly how to archive a voucher. So maybe a vouchers that you don't want to have in your system anymore because maybe they're no longer relevant, or customer's got a voucher that's archived. Maybe it's the voucher is expired and you're no longer able to redeem it. How do you overcome that? Then next, we're going to take a look at the product groups. So this is kind of where your department groups and subgroups sit in XPOS. And we're going to take a look at if you've got some data that maybe needs a little bit of tidy up. So this might be where you've used XPOS for quite a number of years. You've created your own department group or subgroups, and there's a bit of duplication in the system. Since you've Xcodes and you end up with two subgroups, maybe called confectionery or drink, or it might be, clubs that, you want to tidy up. So I'll go through that. Next, we're going to take a look at what to do with products, maybe out of stock products that are kind of old products. We're going to take a look at how best to manage it. So you've sold the product. It was the 2023 range. It's a couple of years later now, and you don't want that product sat on your database. And then finally, we're going to take a look at customers. So potentially a customer's left the golf club, so they're no longer maybe relevant in the system. Maybe they've left the country or something. You don't want them in the system anymore, or you just want a little bit of a customer tidy up. So we're going to take a look at those topics. So first of all, as I mentioned, we're going to take a look at gift vouchers. So gift vouchers, obviously selling through the sales screen, you've got multiple options with vouchers. Now, depending on where you are, the vouchers have different sets of expiry dates. So, for example, in the UK, generally it's a sort of 2 years, sort of 24 months expiry. So first of all, I'm just going to go in and have a look at our voucher reports, and we'll just have a look. So if we go into my vouchers here, so depending what date we select, we've got a list of all the vouchers with our live voucher codes in the system. So if I just use an example here, then, so I've got a voucher, let me just have a quick look. Voucher number, what have we got here? Number 25. So that's a pre-printed voucher. So the code is number 25. So if you go into settings and products and vouchers down the bottom, you'll see at the top of the screen here, we've got a button that says voucher sold. This will give you a full list of all the gift vouchers that have been sold within the system. And if we can see over here, you've got the sales dates, you've got the name, staff member, customer, reference of the voucher, then you've got the sales value, current balance, and then the expiry date over on the side. So if I look for this voucher that I just mentioned, number 25, so if I come in here and edit voucher, so the expiry date's been set on this voucher, sort of 2023. I'll just sort of, I know this was last year, but I'm going to just change that again here. So just to show you the differences. So at the moment, what would happen is, now if we go into the sales screen though and pop a product through, press pay. So we want to use some of the value of the voucher. At the moment, if we put the voucher in, the voucher will be in red because the voucher's expired. Now, very, very simple way of changing that. You can tap on the pen and you can change over the expiry date. So maybe 2025. That voucher now is a live gift voucher. So to redeem any value of that voucher, tap on it. And then the voucher, there we go, we've just redeemed a bit of the value. I mean, obviously from a kind of practical point of view there, obviously the value is a lot less. I'd probably encourage to either put the money on an account or the customer to spend the full value, because you don't really want that voucher then having a value, saying 100, it's only got 94. But that's how you manage your expired vouchers. Likewise, if you have got, kind of mass vouchers that you do want to maybe look at expiring, I did briefly go on that here, but if we go into, again, products and vouchers sold, to just sort of whiz through, say, if you think, actually, do you know what, these vouchers need to be expired, you can just very quickly come in. The quickest way to do this is just pop a date in of a date in the past. So maybe the current year where the date's the day before or something like that. So obviously that was last month. Tap on save. that voucher now will basically, as you can see at the top here, is expired. So that now means that I'm unable to redeem that voucher within the sale screen. Although, as you saw there, really me putting the sale through, it's really easy to tap the little edit button in the pen in the sale screen and just change the date. So we've tried to make it really sort of user friendly there. Okay, so the next area then we're going to look at is customers. So this very simple one. It might be that you've got a bunch of customers in your system, and you've got some customers here that have potentially they're no longer, for some reason they're no longer needed in the system. So let's have a look. So let's go have a little look down here. So I don't know, maybe we've got this customer here. So Mark. So what you can do is there's a couple of options here. If customers have got credit on their accounts, this is something you've got to watch, because obviously if you do archive them, they archive with the balance. So potentially whether or not that balance is going to go to somebody. So whether it's a family member or someone else or what have you. But for this instance with this customer here, Mark, if we click on archive, now Mark is actually just now he's archived from the system. If at any time in the future you want to, maybe that customer rejoins the golf club, then you can come into your customers and show archive, which gives you a list. So if we just have a little look up here. So use this little tab at the top to filter, and we can see all my archive customers in the system. So here you can see Mark. If he happened to have rejoined, we can nice and simply select him and restore. If I take off my archive now, and search for Mark, be able to see there that Mark's account is back live. So just a way of you being able to archive customers and what have you if they leave, or a bit of a data tidy exercise maybe every sort of once a year or so. From that with customers as well, in your sort of customer report where you can see all your customer balances, a couple of little tips for you. So it might be that you use some competition accounts where money for competitions gets put onto the accounts transferred back and forth members' accounts. And it might well be that you don't want those accounts to show on maybe a report you give to the accountant, because they're not necessarily actual customer accounts. They're more internal, the way that you would transfer the money for competitions. So what we recommend with the club competitions, you've got this little internal customer box. What internal customer does then, it gives you the option when you run your reports to be able to exclude that customer from the report. So this is generally for competitions now. This isn't for normal customers. So just be careful with this. So if we go into reports, and we're going to go customers and customer balances. So we've got a couple of options here. So archive, true or false. So archive, what that allows you to do is show the report with the archived customers or without archived customers, because obviously if you include the archive, you've got balances there that obviously may enhance or decrease the balances overall, so the liability to the business. Then you've also got internal account. So if it's set to true, that will just display all of the accounts. If we have a look at false, we'll see some of the accounts have disappeared now. So for example, if an account is set as internal, then it'll show the accounts. If it's set to set to true, it will show internal accounts. Set to false doesn't include the internal accounts. So this is just a way that you might want to maybe send the accountant or somebody a report with all your voucher liability, account liability, but not include the internal accounts because they're purely used for competitions. Okay then, so hopefully there's a couple of tips there on vouchers and sort of customers and the customer accounts. So we're now just going to take a look at the products then in the system. So this is quite a big one here. So this might be where let's look at products first. So any business has products where you repeatedly sell them, but generally over time you get new season stock come in, the old season stock gradually sells through. And then over time, if you've used a till system for quite a number of years, you're going to get lots and lots of data. Now, all the reports are all obviously, kind of historical. So anything you do to a product now won't change historical data. So for example, what I mean by that is if you archive a product, that product won't change any previous sales history, that history is still stored. So let's say run a little report here and look at, I'll give an example. Let's look at golf balls. So I would generally run this by subgroup because rather than look at a massive screen of all your data, it's quite good to break it down. So I'm going to do one step further here. I'm just going to change that to out of stock. So this is basically saying, show me a filter where all my golf balls I don't carry anymore. So I know that these three ranges of balls, I've no longer got any stock. Now, firstly, I would mention I would actually do this after you've carried out a stock take. Because if you do it prior to a stock take and then on a stock take, you try scanning some of the ladies softfield balls that you did find one box of somewhere, then that product won't be able to be added at a stock take if you've already archived it before you did the stock take. So would recommend doing a stock take first, then doing what I'm showing you. So nice and easy. What you do then is if you select your products that are in that range, click on archive. It will take a few moments just to sort of archive the data there. It will give you a little bit of a snapshot. So it gives you a bit of a warning if there was any stock, but obviously for these items here, there's no value there because they're all zero. We could see that. And that's it. Those golf balls are nicely archived off. Now, don't get me wrong. If you get those balls in stock, any of those balls in stock in the future, you would literally just zap the barcode, stock them back in. The data would just re-import into the system. Finally, we're just going to take a look at the product subgroup groups and departments then. So what do I mean by that? So if we go into products here and we've got groups. So this is all about the structure of your system. So all of the sort of layout of XPOS. So here I've got two departments, golf course and shop, which is great. Now under golf shop, we've got all of the Xcodes and non-Xcodes groups, product groups. So if we click on accessories, we can see I've got my Xcodes sort of subgroups. Now, sometimes if you've used XPOS for a long time, you might also have your own subgroups. But what happened then, it's very common to have kind of duplicates because you might have created sort of tees or sunglasses or head covers on your own. They would display underneath the Xcodes once you've stocked products in since with Xcodes. So you'll end up with duplication. Now, nice and easy fix here. I can't show you on this screen, but if I go to say custom fit as example, what you can do here is select any subgroup, and this can be done by group as well, but I'll show you subgroup first. You can select any group and you can click on merge, and it'll allow you to merge it with another subgroup in that sort of subgroup field. So if we had an Xcode subgroup here, we could tick on it, click merge, and you'll get a little message to say that the change can't be undone. Click on save, and that will basically merge that subgroup into the relevant or correct Xcode subgroup. So my system's pretty neat and organized, but if you've used XPOS for sort of 5-10 years, you may find yourself that will be a really good benefit. So it just allows you to merge duplications into the correct subgroups. That means that when it comes to stock taking, you're not going to have like 3 different men's driver categories. When it comes to sort of running your reports, you're not going to have like 6 different bag categories when they're kind of there's 2 stand bags, 2 trolley bags, and 2 of something else. It's just a really easy way of tidying up your system. That, as I said as well, can also be done in group level. And you can also, if you sometimes come across maybe, I'll give you an example, at one point in time, the buggy hire did go to the golf course. You could actually merge the golf course sort of, not merge in there. You could edit, the group, and you could change, a group from golf course to shop. So this is where you change it from one department to another. Well, thank you very much for all your time, and have a great weekend, and I'll speak to you again soon.